Finished carpentry is absolutely unlike setting concrete forms or framing walls or roofs. Interior trim work is what we're talking about, and it's the iconic portion of carpentry that everybody thinks of when they think of craftsmanship. It's always a one-man show. It's cleaner, the boards are lighter, it's easier on your body. And you're always inside. It's never muddy, and it's rarely cold. It's a kind of work where you can show off your attention to detail, if you have any attention to detail, and if you do, then you're probably going to end up as a finished carpenter at least part of the time. This little building is about as basic as a little building can be. But it was still a great pleasure to work with Ben, to smell the sawdust, and to watch the joints come together. So I'm going to give you a few close-ups of some of the case and the doors and the reveals and some of the work that we got done. But I'm expecting you to keep in mind that this is paint grade work and the paint has not even been started yet. Most of the holes are uncaulked, all the scratches and dings and boo-boos are apparent. But it's just a shop. And even though it's a shop, it's got to be, decent. But keep in mind, this is a long, long ways from the finished product. Almost every piece of trim in here is an engineered wood product. What that means is it's wood all right, but it is nowhere near the same shape or condition or essential characteristics that Mother Nature gave it. The case and the base is finger-jointed pine lumber. It's solid pine, but it's finger-jointed together in fairly short pieces. The surface on the doors is masonite, which is a wood product, but barely. I think the door jambs themselves are the only solid wood, the way it came out of the tree, that you could find inside the sheetrock. And I think it is actually hemlock, which is darn good for this sort of thing. Every other piece of wood you see in here that's painted white is depending on glue to make it strong. And buddy, it does. Ben, my computer scientist son-in-law, ran all of the baseboard while I was hanging and casing out the doors and the windows. It's been a pleasure to work with Ben and his kids, and to work with Amanda as they have gone back and forth between the house where they're living and the shop we were building. I will always look back on this and think it was just almost a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for me. Well, I came over here yesterday afternoon. Ben and Amanda and their family have gone up to Monmouth to visit Ben's folks for Christmas. Well, lead up to Christmas, then they'll be back down here. And so I've started putting this railing in. It's not complicated, paint grade. These brackets are really nice because they've just got a single hole instead of the 3 holes, so you can always get backing and rotate. Really simplifies one aspect of the spider web you have to build when you're kiltering a railing around a landing. And like I say, it's not complicated, but I only do it about once every 5 or 8 years, and so I'm not automatic, and so I'm going to just put this camera on time-lapse, because if there's one thing I don't want to do, it's be distracted so badly I miscut one of the 3 pieces of railing I have, which are exactly the right amount, just about the right lengths. And so we're just going to go ahead and make the rest of this happen. I've got the brackets established around the landing. The trick is going to be to establish the transition point where the horizontal run takes off at the 32 degrees or whatever it is, and then terminate up there. The ace in the hole that I have is that we put solid backing. There's backing everywhere back there, and so the 34 to 38 inch acceptable range of railing height from the nose of the stair is going to be easy to hit once the inspector comes in here next week to final this thing. Wow, are these brackets with the single hole better than the old 3-hole type where the 2 on the outside don't quite hit the stud and the one on the bottom gives you too wide a swing on the rotation for adjustment? This is really nice. So one code requirement around here is that your two requirements is that your railing has to project 6 inches beyond the last rise. Whether it's at the top, got to extend 6 inches past, or more, at the bottom, 6 inches past or more. And if a railing stops out in the middle of the air, you have to return it back to the drywall, which has frustrated me in the past until I thought carefully about life as a fireman. You're going up or down a set of stairs and it's smoky and it's hot and you're full of adrenaline and your life is in mortal danger, and one of your straps on one of the tools you're carrying hooks over the end of a floating railing and you're hung up, maybe at the worst possible second. So I no longer do anything except pay close attention when I need to return that railing back to the wall so that nobody gets hung up, even if it's just me walking down with something in my hand. If you've been watching the channel at all, you've seen Ken Jordan. He kind of hangs out with me whenever we can. Now, it can't happen every day because sometimes the situation is just, too fluid. There's too much moving around, there's too much going on because Kenny had a stroke a few years ago and he has bounced back a long, long ways. But if you're not familiar with this guy, I recommend a video that we posted several years ago called The Friend That Revolutionized My Thinking. In fact, you might just click over to that right now. And then when you click back and watch Kenny sort of supervising my efforts on this little railing, you're going to have a whole new appreciation for what that guy has been able to do with woodwork. Thank you for watching Essential Craftsman, and keep up the good work.
Yeah, I would organize it a little bit.
Yeah, we need at least 3 more brackets, regardless of what the inspector says, right?
Right.
Yeah, he'll be happier too.
No, that's fastened at the bottom.
Yeah,
right?
that's screwed into there.
And one about right here somewhere.
Yeah, I think so, huh?